finding a professional to talk to who gets it is really important, because then you can begin to work through and understand and have compassion on yourself, really, rather than judgment. You talk about yourself in a way you wouldn't dream of talking about anybody else. People you work with or your family, you wouldn't dream of talking about them in such a harsh tone, or to them in such a harsh tone. It's going to be really important for your progress if you can try and develop talking to yourself much more like a friend. I mean, like your best friend. If something crops up, or there's some symptom, or some, you do have an awful day and things come unzipped, try and be compassionate to yourself and think about being a safe person for yourself. And that took a while. Took a long while, because I wasn't used to doing that. But it is really important, and particularly not judging your young self with what you know now. There might be an incident or something that was said to you, and you think, well, how could you believe that? That was so stupid, because of course it wasn't going to happen. But young children they're not in that place. They haven't got that knowledge or understanding. Certainly when I was growing up, you were taught to believe what adults told you and do as you were told and not question. So, be kind to your younger self, and the things that happen to them, getting to the point where you can say, that could not possibly have been their fault. Couldn't possibly. How could they be the responsible one there when the adults involved were clearly, they were the problem, not the child?
Self-esteem is something you build on. So it'll take years to genuinely do it, but try and find that one thing that you can do well, or that you get pleasure from, and hang on to that one thing, because something positive can be built on. If it's all negative, you've got nowhere to go with it. So however tiny it might seem to you and to other people, don't worry. You are doing what's right for you. I used to set myself up for a fall by saying, I'll go and do this or that and the other. Couldn't do any of it. So that's hopeless. Whereas, okay, in this moment, I'm looking at some lovely flowers and that makes me feel okay. In the next moment, I might be down in the pit. But in that moment, hang on to that. Perhaps for me, mindfulness will be, I've got a tree outside the room I work in, and I just look at that tree. I don't try and do any more than that. I don't try and think about being in the moment or anything. That's just totally overwhelming. So many of the things that are offered, you need to take back and back and back and back, and just have a tiny bit of it which you can hang on to, because so much we were set up to fail as children. And then, as you say, our self-esteem, even if we weren't really failing, we were always told we were failing, we were no good, etc., etc., etc. And so that is so damaged, because as a child, we didn't label anything. We didn't label emotions, so we don't know how we're feeling. We didn't label relationships, because where would you start with that? You've got good and you've got bad, but you're being told the bad are good. So much is black. You're told black is white. So it's how you learn to begin to identify something and put a word to it. It's enormous. Absolutely enormous. And it's a gift if somebody can help you find, a word in that moment, and you say, yeah, that's it, isn't it?